guys, I'm going to be reacting to MJV video. This is going to be called... Oh yeah, so by the way, the last MJV video I wasn't able to find online. I was trying to put the original link in the description, but I could not for the life of me find it, so I have no idea what happened to that video, if it was deleted. But I still wanted to upload it just because I know that video I was waiting to do for so long, and I kept seeing it on my desktop, and I just wanted to react to it already. And I obviously wanted to put it up, so I have no idea where that video is. If you guys find it or something, then please let me know, or like message me on Instagram so I can put the original link in the description. But yeah, this one hopefully I'll be able to find online. This one is called Two True Hotel Horror Stories Animated. So the only time I've been in a hotel, kind of a hotel, was when I was in Cuba. It was like a little hotel room, I guess, at the resort, so I guess it was kind of like a hotel. So I haven't had any horror stories there, to be honest. There was just this one creepy guy that didn't really do anything, but just a little creepy. So that's about it. But creepy, everyone's creepy. So anyway, let's go, guys. This should be fun.
Even though I'm a big coward when it comes to
anything scary,
me.
This has to be the perfect place to share a terrifying incident that involved my cousins and myself about 15 years ago.
15 years ago. Wow.
At the time this happened, I was approaching my 16th birthday. My family had a big reunion every year in Southern California. Since I hadn't attended since I was little, my parents thought it would be a fun way to spend my summer break. It would also be a great opportunity to get to know my cousins.
Very true.
There was 3 of them, and they were all girls around my age. After I thought about it, it sounded fun, so I agreed and flew out the next month to Los Angeles.
Okay.
The reunion was held at the same hotel we were all staying in. When I arrived there, I was met by my cousins, Jennifer, Belinda, and Stormy. It was amazing how much alike we all looked. We all
Definitely.
had long blonde hair and blue eyes, not to mention our facial similarities, but it made sense since our dads were brothers. The biggest difference was how tan they were. Since I had been inside all winter in Minnesota, they were much darker than me. My uncle and dad decided to let us stay in one room together. It was a big fancy bridal suite. When we saw the room, we came up with this joke that we were sisters and we were staying in the hotel together for my bachelorette party. I was chosen as the bachelorette because I was the oldest and looked a little different, like an older sister often does.
So they're younger then?
We spent the rest of the day at the pool and talking to guys.
I thought they were all the same age, roughly.
Stormy, who was only 14, managed to trick a 25-year-old guy into thinking she was 19 and gave her his number.
Oh.
We were having so much fun, we stayed up until about 4 talking and laughing.
Catfish.
In the morning, which was about noon for most of us, we ordered breakfast and then headed for the pool again.
Okay.
Our day turned out to be even more fun than the one before it. This time Stormy got a pair of twins to buy her lunch. That girl was on fire that week. Later that evening, we all got dolled up and had dinner at the hotel's restaurant. But this time, the story we'd created had taken on a life of its own. My cousins had been telling guys all day that we were there to party and asking them to buy them drinks. But most of the men were wise enough to know that they were lying.
Good.
After dinner, we joined this cute pair of older guys that were sitting in the lobby. When they noticed us leaving the restaurant, they had asked us to sit with them. And since we had nothing else to do, we did.
Yeah, but
Once we had sat down, they began asking us our ages and names. Of course, we lied and said we were in our early 20s, and they actually believed us. I couldn't help but giggle a bit. This was the most fun I'd had in years. Jennifer and I didn't say much. We left that to Belinda and Stormy.
What?
At one point...
Sorry, of course, got interrupted, so I'm at 2:45 of this video. Let's go.
Stormy invited them up to our room,
but I had to take her aside and remind her that her dad was staying in the room next to ours and would surely not like it. I didn't want to be a stick in the mud, but
yeah, he was like 14 to like 16 years old.
Who looked to be like 30 or something in our room. At the point it was approaching midnight, I told the 2 younger girls it was time to go back to our room.
Midnight.
They argued at first, but once Jennifer backed me up, they gave in. We told the guys to meet us at the pool around 11 a.m. and we'd get lunch together. Then we went back upstairs to our room. We stayed up talking about the 2 men and what we were planning on doing when we saw them. That lasted until about 2 a.m. when we decided to go to bed. The lights had just been turned off in the room when we all heard the doorknob start jiggling very fast.
They know where you live.
Like somebody was trying to get in.
They're trying to assault you guys.
At first, I thought it was my mind tricking me, but once it started again, I got scared. I asked the other girls if they were also hearing it, and they said yes. Without thinking, Belinda jumped up from her bed and said she would see who it was. I yelled out to her to stop her from opening the door, but it was too late. Jennifer got up and turned on the lights, and I joined her at the end of the hall. When Belinda opened the door, she turned to us and said no one was there.
Close it, hurry up.
Turned back to the door and stepped out into the hall. That was when we saw a person in a black mask jump out and grab her. As soon as they grabbed her, she began screaming and fighting to get away.
It's one of the guys.
By this time, Stormy had joined Jennifer and I. All three of us were also screaming and running for the door to help Belinda. When we made it out into the hall, we saw that the person was attempting to drag her to the elevator. Even though she was fighting as hard as she could, she was losing and getting closer to the elevator.
Shit, hurry up, man.
Thankfully, my uncle came out of his room to see what was going on and saw Belinda being dragged away. He didn't hesitate to attack the person in the mask. Once he hit them a few times across the head, they dropped her and ran off down the hall. They made it to the stairwell and disappeared. We all ran to her to see if she was okay. She was obviously scared and upset, but thankfully didn't look to be hurt.
Good.
Once he was sure she was all right, my uncle called hotel security and told them what had just happened, and they called the police.
And there's probably security footage
too. The 4 of us girls just sat there and held each other and cried. We were all so happy that Belinda was safe. Despite the hotel's attempt at catching the person by locking all the doors, the attacker still managed to get away. When the police arrived, we tried our best to describe the attacker, but since they were wearing all black and a mask, we didn't have much to go on. Belinda was pretty sure it was a man, but that was it. Over the rest of the week, we all spoke to the police several times and repeated what we had been doing the past couple of days.
Come on now, it's pretty obvious.
When my uncle heard about our little inside joke about being in town for a bachelor party and how we had been lying to the boys about our ages, he was mad, to say the least. The police told him that one of those boys was most likely the one that had grabbed Belinda.
Obviously.
His theory was that they were trying to kidnap one of us to potentially sell us to a trafficker.
Wow.
Since we looked so much alike, it didn't matter which one of us opened the door. He said girls that looked like us were super popular in the rest of the world and that traffickers would pay top dollar for one of us.
Oh.
We were all so scared we spent the rest of the week in our room and refused to answer the door for anyone without a key. As soon as the police said it was okay for me to go home, I took the first flight back to Minnesota. I was still scared of strangers for a long time and had to go to counseling to get over the worst of it. From what my cousins told me later, they did also and found it hard to trust boys that they had just met. Unfortunately, the police were never able to find Belinda's attacker and punish him for what he had done. It had been a long time since this happened, and when we have taken family trips to Disneyland, I've caught myself wondering if one of the men walking around could be the one that tried to kidnap Belinda that night. Then I'd get a shiver down my spine and remember, it could have just as easily been me.
It's crazy.
Excuse me for not being an amazing storyteller, but this is definitely a true story.
Okay.
My mother used to work at a hotel in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
It was back in the 90s, and she was a housekeeper, or maid. She needed money because she was a refugee from Vietnam. Even though she didn't know much English at the time, she knew enough to get by at her job. Plus, all the other hotel staff and guests loved her because of how sweet she was. Because of this, anytime high-profile guests, such as the Backstreet Boys, would come and stay at the hotel, the manager always sent my mum to clean their rooms. One day, a guest came. We'll refer to him as Mr. M.
Mr. M?
He checked into their most expensive suite. As usual, the manager told my mum to take care of this room. As she got there was a "Do Not Disturb" sign on the door, so she told the manager that she'd go back later. What was weird was that no one was ever allowed into Mr. M's room. The man stayed there for over a month, and not one time did he let any staff come in to clean. However, he paid a lot, and he always gave a warm welcome every time he passed a staff member or housekeeper.
There's something going on inside that room.
No one paid him any attention, really.
There's something going on in that room.
Then, one day, people didn't see him anymore. They assumed he had checked out, even though the receptionist had no account of that. Since it had been so long since the room had been cleaned, the manager told my mum to go and check it out and try and clean up what she could. As she got to the room and unlocked the door, a disturbing smell hit her.
He died or someone else died.
She
He
couldn't
killed
figure out
somebody.
what it was, but she continued to survey the room.
Yeah, it's like destroyed.
It was disgustingly messy. In her words, it looked like someone had thrown a rave, despite the fact that no one else had ever gone into Mr. M's room. None of the other guests, at least. It looked like Mr. M had deserted the place without telling anyone. My mum was still shocked by the smell, so she tried to track it down. As she followed the smell, she could tell it was coming from the closet.
Alright, what's in the
When she opened the
closet?
closet, there was nothing but a cardboard box on the ground.
What's in the box?
The smell was clearly resonating from it.
Oh no, it's
My mother's
dead
first
body.
instinct was to open the box to see what it was, and to clean and throw it out. What she found scarred her. It was the rotting, decomposing head of a young woman. My mother immediately screamed and got out of there.
Oh
She
my
fainted in
god.
the elevator. Once she woke up, the cops were everywhere, and the hotel was like a CSI scene. The manager told her that Mr. M wasn't the guy's real name, and he had used a fake credit card to check in.
Oh shit.
The head of the woman was identified to be that of a call girl. I don't know much more, or any of the nitty-gritty details, but I'm sure you can look it up on the internet for more information. Needless to say, my mum quit that day.
No, I would freaking hope so. Jesus. Anything where you're like with the public, you never know what you're gonna encounter. That's all I can really say about that. Like you working there, you know what I mean? Like you working anywhere with people. In a store, you're with people. You never know what's gonna happen. Someone could shit on the floor. You're in fast food, same thing could happen. Or there's like shit all over the washroom, or like you're at a hotel. There's people that could die. You know, because when you work with the public, which obviously a lot of jobs are like that, you gotta be careful because like you could literally encounter anything. Like you would encounter this, a head in a box. So I have no idea why, but he obviously killed somebody. Who knows why? I'm really curious why, to be honest. I actually really want to know why. Mr. M, a fake name, fake. Okay, it's definitely interesting. Kind of thinking and wondering why, because like it's kind of weird, right? You know, it's odd. But I guess whatever. I don't know, but I guess that's it for that. Well, let me know what you guys thought of that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. If you have any comments on this video, of course, let me know, and that'll be it. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out. Oh wait, I was gonna say something about the first video. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to comment on the first story here. So the first story, I don't know why they were like fucking around with older guys, because like you're only 14 and 16. They could easily get arrested too if like, even if they thought, like if they were trying to like hook up and stuff, and they're obviously 30 and they're like 20 like they said they were, then of course that would not be illegal, but because they're 14 to 16 that could be illegal still. Or that should, yeah, because I don't know, I know 16 is the legal age of consent in Canada, but I'm pretty sure you still can't, like, I don't know if you can date someone, like I'm 21, I'm pretty sure I can't date a 16-year-old. But if they're 15, I definitely cannot, or I definitely could get in trouble. So like, even if they thought that they were 20 or something, but they're actually 14 to 15, you could still get in trouble, for sure. It's like statutory rape or something, I have no idea. But I'm just kind of thinking, like, be careful with that, because, like, you don't know what they're going to do. You obviously don't know them. You're just kind of thinking, oh, yeah, I just met them. Yeah, I know he's cute, whatever. But, like, you don't trust them yet. Like, you don't even know them. Like, you know them for minutes, and they're just cute. That's all you know. Like, do you even know their name? Do you know their age? Like, you know what I mean? So just be careful with that. Do not lie about your age. Be honest with your age, especially if you're, like, a bit younger. Then be honest with your age. Don't talk to older guys if you're young, because, you know, it's obviously not. Or older people in general, girls too, older girls too. Don't talk to older girls. Only talk to people you know, just be safe and stay cautious and all that. And now that's going to be it. Sorry, I totally forgot about that first story. I was so into this one. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace out.